Have you ever brushed your teeth, used mouthwash, chewed gum, and still wondered if your breath wasn't as fresh as it should be? Many people assume bad breath is simply caused by poor brushing habits. But what if the real reason is something you've never even considered? The truth is that bad breath can sometimes be a clue that something else is happening inside your mouth, throat, sinuses, or even your digestive system. Today, we'll explore 7 hidden causes of bad breath that most people completely ignore. Let's start with one of the most common causes: dry mouth. Your mouth has a natural cleaning system. It's called saliva. Most people don't think much about saliva, but it plays a crucial role in keeping your mouth healthy. Every day, saliva helps wash away food particles, bacteria, and dead cells that would otherwise build up inside your mouth. When your mouth becomes dry, that cleaning system slows down. As bacteria multiply, they produce sulfur compounds that create unpleasant odors. This is why many people wake up with morning breath. During sleep, saliva production naturally decreases, allowing bacteria to grow more freely. Dry mouth can also happen because of dehydration, mouth breathing, certain medications, smoking, or even stress. Many people spend money on mouthwash while never addressing the real issue. They simply aren't producing enough saliva. Now let's move to another place where bacteria love to hide. Your tongue may be the real problem. Most people brush their teeth every day. But surprisingly, many people completely ignore their tongue. Take a close look at the surface of your tongue. It's not smooth. It's covered with tiny grooves and crevices that can trap food particles, bacteria, and dead cells. Over time, these materials build up. As bacteria feed on them, they release gases that produce unpleasant odors. In some cases, the tongue can hold more odor-causing bacteria than the teeth themselves. This is why some people continue to struggle with bad breath even though they brush regularly. A simple tongue scraper can sometimes make a noticeable difference. But the tongue isn't the only hidden area where bacteria can hide. There's another place that many people never think about: tonsil stones. Have you ever looked in the mirror and noticed small white or yellow lumps near the back of your throat? Those could be tonsil stones. Tonsil stones form when food particles, mucus, bacteria, and dead cells become trapped inside small pockets in the tonsils. Over time, these materials harden into tiny stones. Many people don't even realize they have them. Yet tonsil stones are one of the most common causes of persistent bad breath. In fact, some people brush their teeth multiple times a day and still struggle with bad breath, simply because the odor is coming from tonsil stones hidden in the back of the throat. Sometimes the source is a little higher up. Sinus problems and postnasal drip. Have you ever had allergies or a stuffy nose that seemed to last for weeks? If so, your sinuses may be contributing to bad breath. When mucus builds up inside the nasal passages, it can slowly drip down the back of the throat. This condition is known as postnasal drip. The mucus itself becomes a food source for bacteria. As bacteria feed on it, unpleasant odors can develop. People with chronic allergies, sinus infections, or nasal congestion often experience this problem without realizing it. In many cases, they focus entirely on brushing and mouthwash while the real issue is happening in the sinuses. But what if the odor isn't coming from your mouth, throat, or sinuses at all? That brings us to a surprising cause: acid reflux. When most people think about acid reflux, they imagine heartburn. But acid reflux can cause more than just a burning sensation. In some cases, stomach acid and gases travel upward into the esophagus and throat. This can create unpleasant smells that affect the breath. Some people don't even experience classic heartburn symptoms. Instead, they notice frequent throat clearing, a bitter taste, hoarseness, a sensation of something stuck in the throat, persistent bad breath. Because these symptoms seem unrelated, many people never connect them to acid reflux. If bad breath is combined with throat symptoms, reflux may be worth considering. Now let's look at another cause that often develops very slowly: gum disease. Bad breath can sometimes be an early warning sign. When bacteria accumulate around the gums, they can trigger inflammation. Initially, this may seem harmless. Perhaps your gums bleed occasionally when brushing. Maybe they look slightly swollen. Over time, however, the infection can progress. As gum disease develops, pockets form around the teeth. These pockets create the perfect environment for bacteria to grow. The result can be persistent bad breath that doesn't improve with ordinary brushing. Many people focus on their teeth while ignoring the health of their gums. Yet healthy gums are just as important for fresh breath. Now let's move on to something many people consume every day. Certain foods and habits. Everyone knows that garlic and onions can affect breath, but the reason is more interesting than most people realize. After digestion, certain compounds enter the bloodstream. These compounds eventually reach the lungs and are released through the breath. That's why brushing alone doesn't completely remove the smell. The odor is actually coming from inside the body. Smoking can have a similar effect. Tobacco not only leaves behind its own smell, but also dries out the mouth and encourages bacterial growth. Alcohol can contribute as well because it reduces saliva production and creates a drier environment inside the mouth. Over time, these habits can make bad breath much worse. Finally, there's one more hidden cause that people often overlook: not drinking enough water. It sounds simple, but many people walk around mildly dehydrated throughout the day. When water intake drops, saliva production often decreases. As we discussed earlier, saliva helps control bacteria. Without enough saliva, odor-producing bacteria gain the upper hand. Sometimes the solution isn't a stronger mouthwash. Sometimes it's simply drinking more water consistently throughout the day. Small habits can have a surprisingly large impact on breath freshness. Final thoughts. Bad breath isn't always caused by poor oral hygiene. In many cases, the real cause may be dry mouth, bacteria on the tongue, tonsil stones, sinus problems, acid reflux, gum disease, certain foods, smoking, alcohol, or dehydration. The important thing is not to ignore persistent bad breath. Sometimes it's simply a hygiene issue, but other times it can be a clue that your body is trying to tell you something. Understanding the underlying cause is often the first step towards solving the problem for good. If you found this interesting, consider exploring more everyday health mysteries and symptoms that many people experience but rarely understand.